Whoever just said hear us, that's all I heard.
Can you hear me now?
Barely, yes.
Well, barely. Tell you what, why don't we just move this closer
Yeah,
and then we'll,
the cords are only so
I know.
long, but I
I know.
can try to.
Well, if you guys have a quorum, I don't need to be here. I can go to sleep. I
Oh,
mean, I can
stop
leave.
it. And you need to send in your renewal too.
I'm
right?
debating that when I sent you an email on that one. I don't know.
His membership is technically up with you, and I sent him the membership form tonight.
No, I got it. I just don't pay attention to
he got
mail.
it. All these
I mean, I have not received my $10,000 payment yet.
Neither has Tom.
Oh no, shit. Okay, I'm sorry. No doubt.
That's a $10,000 fine. If wearing. Great.
I'm really sorry, guys. Cindy kind of looks.
Oh, I think, let me get you this.
Look at his trash can. It's just so ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to change my mind about signing. Gotta get some incentive.
My IT skills. We go through this for water control and wet.
Like a dinosaur.
There's no IT person in town.
Yes, they
Yeah.
just.
There's gotta be something wrong. So, I mean, come every week. Come in at 11 o'clock.
Well, there's a whole laptop issue that we used another laptop and I guess they insisted we use this one and they took the old one away. We should have to go. What? Leave it on.
They said I would have to reconnect every
Yeah,
time.
we're gonna work that out.
They've given me a new hard drive. I have to use my own hard drive.
I think we already got a state.
Well, that requires 4 meetings, a town meeting, a public hearing, Board of Finance.
The next time they ask me to come, no, think that is enough.
All right.
Well, no, we'll get
You're
it.
gonna call it to order, please? Sorry.
Ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Call to order at 7.
Doug, you might as well come over here. Oh, sorry.
So I need approval of the minutes for November 9th. I'll move to approve the November 9th minutes. Second. All in favor? Right. You opposed? Okay. That's good. Audience citizens, Patrick, Frank, and some guy named Tom Salomon. Used to know what he was. Oh, yeah. All right, I guess the first item is then, management and renovation. Yes. Federal.
I
Yeah.
had handouts with station locations. So you get to see then the I set. Was written that because these are this pretty big thing to get done up.
Yeah.
Not that easy.
Well, it's very quick update. That was used to get town council approval on Tuesday.
Right.
We were there. And so the contract, we can award the contract to Millennium.
Yep.
Brian Humes and Jeff D'Onofrio have been working on the contract. Millennium has it. They've looked at it. They look like they're gonna probably sign it and send it back. And they're working on getting the bond and the insurance by Monday or Tuesday. So it sounds like things are going in the right direction. And except the downstairs isn't, I think, 100% ready.
That's the other thing, was to
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah.
Don't know whoever to get them, so that they don't have to do a single thing. Okay, we're still
for the recycled cardboard trash.
Yeah.
For, so,
Okay, good.
one, regarding another project,
Oh, you did? Oh,
so it's gonna be their point person. So, when we get the schedule, we'll coordinate
yeah,
instruction to make sure that we're serving at the whole level.
yeah. And I think it's gonna come down to getting like the logistics plan for them, like how much area they need out the back. And when they're gonna be actually coming in and start demo. Yeah, we still have a few, I mean, not that it involves us, but dumpsters have to go out, there's a shed out there that Dave has the survey stuff in, we already have pads for that, a pad for that, we're gonna get that out. That's not big.
No other season for late.
No, I think that there's no events proposed for that area. The storage and the food pantry now is in that. They're actually need all their stuff after the holiday giveaway.
Temporary setup.
Yeah.
Kind of built the rest of the storage area, filter out the rest of.
Yeah.
Stamps.
Good. And I think both of us are gonna start setting notes that, okay, the contract's gonna be, is getting signed. Let's get it all cleared out.
Yeah,
Now, the cages, the
Now,
board,
when it's done, they can go ahead, if I'm like a tape or something, you can get Mark to sign it.
the contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Are
can
you
have
around
Brandon
next
sign it.
week? That was the question I had as far as signing the contract.
I'm around. Gotta go up.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be gone, but I can stay here. If you have, that's
Tell you what,
Monday.
let's see where it goes and then I'll reach out to you offline. And the agenda item, at the suggestion of Jeff, he said, put the chairman of the PBC, not just the town or the PBC, he said, put the chairman of the PBC. That's authorized to sign the contract. And he said, before we used to just put the town or we're authorized, whatever, he didn't want to be more specific. But
Just
you
want the
definitely.
hanging. I used to.
Because of that big paycheck,
Yeah.
you know? So, anyway, so we're gonna
Okay.
use that model from now on any contract that we go forward with.
Just make sure, I don't wanna, if I happen to be away, I don't want.
Yeah, I got it.
Absence to hold things up, tell Millennium, and we'll get ahead of them.
Right.
Under the chairman's stipend is funded. Got it. Do I need a motion? All in favor? I'll hand out. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so that's basically, so we're ready to roll. Yes.
All overdue.
Oh. And I haven't been around the whole time, Doug and Tom and some others have. Yeah, but it's long overdue and well deserved, in my opinion. Well, he was on remote, yeah. He was, yeah. Yes.
We have an invoice here. For $5,625. Balance of $51,000. Progress to the stage. Same place where it's. Nothing.
Yeah.
$5,625. Complete of schematic design phase, design development phase. Production documents phase at 100%. Well, over 16, so, by a vote. Motion. Second, all in favor? Aye.
All right,
Who's my second? That's Bart. Okay.
And the Board of Ed HVAC upgrades.
Patrick?
I saw
Hopefully
you
can
look at me
hear us.
right away. So I'll try to give a quick update of where we're at in the school. The lower level, the ceiling in the corridor is basically 100% done. Devices are cut in, smoke alarms. The cameras, from what I understand, are aimed properly too. All the pads are in. The rest of the corridors, when we move upstairs, The ceiling grid is in. A lot of the ceiling tiles that require cuts and devices in them are in. There's still a few stragglers, it seems like there. And then, and I think what they're waiting for is some wiring from ABS before they finally white out the corridors, which shouldn't be too far from now. They have received all of the units that go in the rooms, basically, so all your unit vents and all the fan coils, along with the installation kits for them. So that's the actual flex connection hose with the valves, the extension pieces. So they're pretty much ready to roll in the classrooms. I was talking with the foreman on Wednesday after the meeting from Allstate. He's going to grab 2 unit vents to start with and try to do a mock-up one night just to see how things go before they really try to just go crazy installing them. Because there's going to be some little things they're going to have to work out as far as the actual installation site and the place and which side they need to solder first, that type of thing. There's been Wednesday night, there was a chorus. They decided, Mike, their foreman, had decided just to take the night off. And now they're kind of been working on hitting 3 rooms a night. So that off hours of the off time they had where they weren't working for a couple of weeks there, they're now kind of gaining traction by doing 3 rooms a night instead of the initial 2 they were thought about. So with that, their project manager issued me a revised overall project schedule. And a lot of it still seems to fall in line with where we were before. We're still targeting final completion date for them is about mid-September. That includes owner training is done at that point. So they're kind of really walking away for the last time. We did get notice that the chiller, I wasn't sure if this was available for the last meeting we had here, but the chiller is due to come sometime in April. We were talking about during the meeting, it would be great to see that on site the week of spring break. That way they can just land it and start pulling wires and all of that. So we kind of have our fingers crossed. If not, they'll just hold it at their shop and ready for June for when the kids aren't there anymore to drop it in place.
Other than making sure that it got here, they're not able to insert that into the schedule or like that. They're still gonna have to wait. I mean, they weren't planning on having it till July,
Right.
so
Yeah.
while the kids are in school, they're not gonna be able to do any of these things.
Well, there was some discussion about that yesterday.
Yeah, their project manager is going to get back to me on that to try to figure out who they had subcontracted to do the rigging, the actual lifting and placing of the unit, and find out what type of equipment we're going to be using at this point. We do have an advantage of now that the masonry walls aren't going to be in place. Rigging these chillers in places is going to be easier for them if we do it in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
So
For enough time to-
it is a developing conversation.
Yeah, and it's when you look at the calendar, I was even talking about this yesterday, that the spring, it's coming the week after the spring break. So if it comes in a little earlier, they could actually do it because it's only going to take them a couple of hours once it's right there. So, and they were talking, since the block's not up, they just boom, almost like sling it right in onto the slab. So it's just, and so, but when it gets closer, even Mike Rossi, their foreman, said, we don't know yet. Maybe it'll move up even more. Maybe just even like a half a week or a week ahead, boom, it slams right in the middle of the winter, this spring break for the school, and boom, they can just do whatever they need to. Patrick, do you want to talk about that PCO that might be coming our way?
Well, there's 2 on my desk right now, actually, Mike. We got I'll start with the earlier one. We have the PCO 10 R1, which has not been brought to the committee yet, I don't believe. This is where we had the existing unit vents were basically used as a junction box for convenience outlets in the other portions of the classroom. What they have to do is kind of refeed up through the ceiling. They have to loop up, reduce some conduit up through the ceiling, and then back down the other side of the window frame. Right now, we know this takes place at 18 units. Those are the 18 units that they demoed out over the summer. We have a unit price. It's roughly, I think it's less than $550 per unit. I want to say, I forget exactly where that landed. But I do have the total price is, it's about 13,000 to do all this work in the 18 rooms. CES has reviewed it. We've kind of exhausted conversations on this at this point, and it is something that the teachers need in their rooms. They do need to have these convenience outlets. It's where they use to charge some of their, I'm not sure if they use iPads or Chromebooks in the school, but it is a few classrooms as a charging station area. CES found the pricing in line with what they would have expected for this work. So it's presented to me as a PCO. That I kind of have Allstate do it that way. It gives them the guides of just the formatting of the material pricing, time pricing, and the backup. So what we have here is, and I wanted to discuss it with you guys tonight, was this is an extra to their contract. We do still have, we could either send it through as a change order, or we could make use of the allowance funds that we still have available. And I kind of wanted to get the committee's take on that.
How much of the allowance is still left?
On the electrical portion, we have a fairly good chunk. The most recent payment application, we still have over $50,000 left.
And what,
It's like around 13,000.
13, so we have 37, 35 left.
And that's just of the allowance one. We still have an allowance
Right.
for smoke sealing, new pipe installation on existing pipe. You still have well over $100,000 of allowance with Allstate.
Yeah.
We're for way along, so we don't know any more surprises.
Yeah, where, in terms of a percentage, how far, what percentage done are we? Round up,
About 40% overall.
that's 40, okay. So I agree with Laura. I think, we're not in the very beginning stage. You don't wanna spend all your powder, but if there's another one that comes after this, we can look at them on a case by case basis. Obviously.
Right.
I don't have any objection to allowance here. Mike, how about you?
If you still have 35 left, or 37 left. And a lot of the electrical, when they ripped the grid down, there was a lot of money spent on that, on
Right.
kind of like making things safe and trying to deal with the existing conditions.
Yep.
So there has been quite a bit of money spent already, but a lot of issues anyway resolved. I don't know what happens when a chiller gets put in place and no connection, but maybe Jake could speak to that.
I don't be surprised if there's issue with each other.
The way I would present this and making use of the allowance on this one is this is an existing condition item.
Yeah.
When you're talking about when we get to the actual installation of the chiller, that's a in scope contract item where if there's something that comes up that there's a conflict that CES needs to address, if there's money left, we could make use of the allowance. I mean, it's funds you guys have got designated to this project. But I see this as a better use of the allowance funds than a change order to the.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
When we brought up this issue last time, we know that this issue is in 18 rooms. Did we do any further investigation in the other areas? Or did we just assume what's going to be in those areas?
They have not really been able to, because you truly kind of have to remove the unit to find out. And they just aren't at that position yet to do that in those other rooms. Probably during the Christmas break when no one's there and they're hopefully going to have a pretty sizable crew there, they'll be able to do some more investigation. But even if we do encounter that, we do still have a chunk of allowance left. And then whatever may be, if we go over what's in the allowance, we could do that as a change order.
No, we don't know.
Right,
And because I saw, they literally had to take it off the wall, and then they found like, whoa, these wires are coming in here, and they're just kind of like, nailed together or whatever. Not pigtail, but, they're, sort of
So
using them like a judge.
what percentage of the rooms was it 100% of the rooms that this was in, or?
I think it was all 18 units, wasn't it?
it was it was every room that they had demoed out the units already.
How many rooms are left, the demo?
It's
20.
20, it was total of 40, right? So it's 22.
We haven't done the newer area. This is the old
And,
section,
well,
so we're hoping the newer.
And that's,
There's 32 units left, but when you get to the other part of the building, there's some rooms that have multiple units in it. Like one of the music rooms or one of the art rooms, for example. It's a bigger room.
Just trying to think, worst case scenario.
Well, we don't have to decide this until next month.
yeah, but you're right, it's like 1/3 of the way through.
I do have the worst case scenario, let's say, the Allstate subcontractor electrician did price everything out, for the entire building,
That's right.
was $26,000. It was 26,876, so call it 27, and then add Allstate's markup, you're still around $30,000 for the entire thing.
Will they hold firm on that price if we find this in all the other ones? I mean, sounds like they
Nope.
will.
Right now, I do have an email from Allstate that price should hold as long as the conditions are relatively similar.
All right.
You still want the no dollar change order cover sheet?
Yeah, we still
On that,
need it for
okay.
the.
So we're gonna do all of them the same way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so for this one, I'll have them write up, change it to a $0 with some verbiage that we're gonna be using the allowance for that. Technically, it's the overhead MEP relocations, I think is the allowance.
Okay.
And then moving on, we got PCO 11. This one's a little bit easier to explain. Basically, what we have is the ceiling. They had to make some transitions that weren't planned. In a couple areas, they had to make a little soffit out of the ACT. And that was just because there was certain areas in the ceiling where there's just major congestion going on. And they had some pipe was about 2 inches lower than what was before, once you account for the insulation. So we had the ceiling contractor install these transitions. This one is it's about $3,600 PCO to me right now. The work's done on this. It looks clean. I'm pretty sure that the people in the school and facilities are comfortable with the way it turned out. The architect had no major objections other than just checking with the town. I did a walkthrough in a couple of areas. They did some pretty good details there. It was a needed thing they needed to do. So this is another one I want to talk to you guys about is allowance versus change order to you. So we do still have this is one that we could potentially use as the construction manager allowance if you want.
Is this the end of it, or did you look through the rest of the classrooms and the rest of the school to see whether this might be necessary down the road, or was this just a one-time thing with this particular area?
This one, I'm pretty comfortable saying this is it, because this was
Okay.
this was because the mains that went down the corridor. And it was a lot of areas where if you hit an intersection of two corridors and there was just a lot of
Yeah.
existing electrical conduit, you had to get the new hot water or chilled water pipe in there somehow. We
Right.
just had to tuck some room in.
So that stuff is out of the way, so we shouldn't encounter this anymore.
Right.
allowance. Yeah, I agree, Patrick.
All right, so I'll have them revise these cover sheets just to, or actually just
Okay,
do the formal change order, $0, showing that it'll go to the allowance.
okay, good. Thanks.
Sure.
How about the principal, still happy?
I haven't had too many conversations with her recently. I spoke to her probably about 2 weeks ago. Everything seems good. It seems like Mike, the foreman from Allstate, has worked on developing a relationship with her, just kind of on a daily basis, and
Yeah, okay, good, that's good.
they're communicating, they're talking, and that's kind of where the other night where this chorus event was happening, he took the lead on having a conversation and made the call just to not work that night, which I think eased her mind a lot.
Yeah. Gonna lose her.
Yeah, that's right.
And if I think Jeff would have said something to me last night, or Tuesday night, if there was an issue, so, but just checking, I always want to keep the principal.
Of
So,
course.
That's good.
Of course.
There's no
Thanks for your work.
conversation of parents of elementary school kids.
Yeah,
Parents haven't
And it's
brought it up. or-
well, I'm assuming we would have heard something, because remember, we heard something, same thing with
Yeah.
Newfield. When they were at McGee, we heard a lot of noise
Yeah.
in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, there were no chirping, everybody was happy, even though they were all convinced that they weren't gonna be.
Yeah.
So,
It's just change. He likes change.
yeah. So, well, that's good.
Well, since we have Patrick on the phone, so to speak, do you want to talk about your question about the cost estimates for Griswold and Hubbard? And does that factor into the pre-construction, or do you want
Sorry, Pat.
to? Well,
Right.
you know,
What you're putting me in a hot seat right now.
I know.
What's
This is
where
your
we going?
buddy, Patrick, your buddy.
Look, there were questions surrounding, for Griswold and Hubbard, we needed cost estimates to go get the federal funding, short story.
right.
And we looked at them here and there's some questions surrounding some of the numbers. You know the details on that, I'll have you explain that, but I propose that Newfield should be considered in reviewing those to kind of shore them up as part of the pre-construction for those two schools. But that was left open at this point here, so,
Yeah. So
yeah, go with the details on the.
well, first of all, I went through the scope,
The
and it
scope,
does have a
yes.
lot of cost, judgments and value engineering and reviewing
Yeah.
costs in both the AIA text. I mean, I don't want to start nitpicking, but it looks like there was a significant focus on cost in the pre-construction for all three schools,
Yeah,
and maybe even doing some cost estimates. So since others have done the cost estimates, what we could do is forward those two, one for Griswold, one for Hubbard, to Patrick and Brian.
Yeah.
And they could take a look at them and weigh in and just take, because one of them's really short and one of them's got all the divisions, but it's just a lot of empty space,
Yep.
except for the HVAC section. So, yeah, Patrick, one of the I think it's Hubbard has the electrical thing, and I just pulled about 700 grand out of extra cost on that, but then there's less unit vents. So there's this, in my mind, I don't know enough about HVAC units cost to see where the differences are. So I know you guys are trying to wrap up the pre-construction work on Griswold and Hubbard.
Mhm.
So I could forward those, if this group agrees, I could just forward them to Patrick and O'Brien, and they could take a look at
I
them.
would love that if they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no.
So I don't know if it's
But
in your
those
scope.
guys are
That's,
required.
I mean, my interpretation is it could be.
I didn't,
You know.
I'm just from the Newfield perspective, I didn't run it by anybody there.
Yeah. I know, you were talking as a
So,
PVCer.
yes.
Yes, got it. So I guess, Patrick, I'm kind of looking for your kind of like response or feedback on that. Is this something that you think is in the scope, or would you be willing to take a look at the Griswold and Hubbard?
Well,
If you
this
want,
would
just
be,
tell us. I mean, we're asking a favor here, so I don't.
yeah, no. I think that
Won't
we could
get mad
definitely.
if you say you can't do it. We'll not get.
I think if you provide us with the scope estimates and you're looking for us to do a quick review on them, give us our opinion on them, I don't see that being an issue. But that is definitely more of a Brian Grant rodeo than it is
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
As far as the reviewing the actual cost estimates.
Yeah.
I I don't want to speak for him entirely, but I don't think we'll have any issue giving you guys some comments on it.
Oh, one way we can handle it is I forward them and then, it doesn't have to be, granular down to, every single.
One day.
Yeah.
Guys all do great work, and if he doesn't wanna do it, tell him to yell at Clark. Or me.
See me in my office.
Oh,
It's true.
yeah.
But we still need you there, so no.
Yeah.
Yell at Clark.
And thank you for doing the schedule. The schedules for, the schedules for Griswold and Hubbard, that the Board of Ed is using along with the cost estimates that were done as well. It's like sort of a beat behind the request, so. Thank you very much.
And we did that, what did I do? The ceiling removal plan, and I think they did some front end documents. I'm gonna be working on this coming week, the logistics for those other schools.
Okay, great.
That way we can just get it all wrapped up for you.
Yeah. That'll come at a good time. Okay. So I can forward those to Patrick and
You may,
then they can, however they want to respond, they can respond.
right.
All right, I think,
If it's good news, contact Mike. If it's bad news, Clark. He'll be.
All right.
is that it for Patrick then?
Think so. Approve his invoice.
Yeah.
Stick around for that.
Yeah, if you want to see your invoices get approved or invoice get approved,
Sure.
we have two for Allstate as well. And then there might be a $0 change order in there too. Did you happen to see that?
I didn't.
No?
No,
Okay,
no.
I'll print that out right now.
Well, we have a bunch of, invoices, so let's.
Yes,
Right. Invoice from Prior Architecture for, $420. Weekly project meeting, field verification, training, and topsoil repair in the building for application, I think, $420 for Prior.
I motion we pay.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Marco and Jason.
Thank you.
Okay. So, then we have new fields, gonna go out of order here, get Patrick. All state, there's new, oh, here's. We have new fields, regular monthly. Expenditure of $20,388.50. So that's application number 6.
Second.
All in favor?
I abstain.
Yes. Okay,
I'm here, Bob.
other, depending on the, send you a check, another $20,388 coming your way. And then we have 2 applications from Allstate. It's 4 and 5. I think the first one, dated 11/20/23, for $228,399.95. Signed off by everybody. The total for them so far is $1,344. Balance to finish is $2,739,802. So I think the rate for it should, I don't know, I said 1,000.
Yeah, we got it. Should pay it.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that was. So I guess they're behind. This is requisition number 5, dated December 8th, for $259,464. So. Totals then to date after this one is $1,604,292 with a balance to finish at $2,487,538. So they're.
Make a motion to pay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That's it for invoices.
All right.
So
If
Patrick,
you guys didn't have any questions on the Allstate invoices, if you don't have anything else for me, I'm gonna take
no,
off.
have a Merry Christmas and we'll
You too.
talk to you next year.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Pat.
These are the ordinances for covered and put forward with, that's councils and everything.
You approved all the things. Item is the lab moisture review from the high school.
Oh, you, yes, me, spoke with, Scott Guerrero, they're gonna get back with some thermometers.
Okay.
And potentially some other investigative scope, they're gonna talk. Currently, and then the project architect was out,
Okay.
they're gonna, we'll wait for some response back, as far as, verifying the products that were used, the mass.
Silver Pen Shelley was that? No, kidding.
Amanda was out,
And Doug, I know I left you hanging on, who have you been talking with at Lorero?
I spoke with Kevin,
Kevin Bitterman?
yeah, I believe, so Mike put me in contact with Kevin over there,
Okay. No, that's fine. Thank you.
he has some information, and then the architect, he's gonna go back to us.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thanks. Either. Or 3 cases.
So any problems since the initial reason for this starting in the, months ago? Anything gotten worse during the fall and the winter?
Spreading a few more, it's starting
It
to,
is?
be a little more prevalent in some areas, so.
Okay. So there's definitely something there.
Well, something completely out there.
No, I know, that's what, yeah. So I just wondered if anything got worse or better, but.
A little more spreading. Or you're aware of it.
So there's something there that we ended up being the lucky ones that do. What's that?
By the spring, it will be.
Yeah. Well, hopefully by the spring, we'll have an idea. Okay.
We'll just get the information, more information, we'll share it, keep working through it. Ideas and recommendations.
I'd say demolish the high school.
Again.
We're sort of in the whole. Working through it. Okay. New business. We need meeting dates for 2024. Have to go to 8, I guess.
Hands out first.
Well, my engineer over here loves looking at the calendar.
Know that.
Oh, we.
But
Tommy, do you-
we have found one or two, like for wetlands, it ended up being election day. And I had just gone through and circled all the commissions, and so, we did catch one, and we had 23 still on one. I know.
Grant comes through. The grant will have a time deadline. So we'll have to respond to that. They may very well say, okay, here's your grant, but yeah. Thank God.
So we may have, more than one.
So if that's the case, then we're gonna have. Maybe not, but my guess is for a short period of time, we'll have to go back to having. Because otherwise, we're just gonna be. Saladino's record will be.
Ah. Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. I thought it was muted.
There'll be a lot of stuff coming through, because it'll be 3 different schools, it'll be the police station. And oh, by the way, the Board of Ed.
Well,
what
I have
they
that,
gonna need.
yeah,
or a fourth project, fifth project, I don't know, some damn project about, updating 5 laboratories in the high school. Now, my own opinion, this is not as a EDC person, it's as just a citizen of the town, is, that's gonna be pushed off till a couple of years. They've survived so far, and it's a lot of money. It'll be,
$3.1 million.
that's what they said.
Well, that's.
Would you,
You know,
Middle school.
the,
Middle school.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's a geek, that's right. So, not that it's not needed, but there's a lot of money being spent on a lot of things, and you have to itemize what you want to do, and certainly the HVAC program has to come at first. It doesn't police that shit, so. But if that gets thrown at us, we'll definitely have to have two meetings.
There talks about the senior center stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's.
could we just get a motion on the calendar? that-
Motion to approve the calendar for next year,
Calendar,
Salamino motion.
that's next on the agenda.
if they pay
He's gonna
attention,
add a couple
Oh, I
of
see. It
items.
is-
with the additions as necessary.
That
Do
is-
you hear Tom's making motion to approve them with additions as necessary?
Just trying to move it along, Tom.
Yeah, anything else would just be special.
Special meeting.
That's what, that's what he was doing.
Works right.
Should I just go to sleep and shut off?
So according to Hoyle,
Sorry.
good with poker. All right, so who wants to make the motion? We want to give it back to Tom?
Yes,
Bart,
I think you should.
and Bart would second.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Views?
So I can enter this into my calendar?
You and Ed.
Vacation, so.
I named this about 10. So I love it. Okay. But seriously, that stuff is maybe coming down the pike, so
Yeah.
it's something for all of us to do.
And I was gonna have that added as new business because, it was just approved by the town council for the McGee Middle School Science Classroom Project for $3.1 million. Was referred to this group on Tuesday. We don't have the specs and all that stuff, so right now, it has been referred to the Public Road Commission. You didn't catch that when you were there?
I
With
left,
Jeff?
I left at a reasonable
No, it
hour,
was
not at
Jeff.
11:45.
Jeff was there.
I think you did. I thought you did.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he said something like 68.
no, we had.
So I was.
So we had. You are? Hey. My first year in college, before you guys, any of you.
Gosh.
19 was the year the Mets won the World Series for the first. And I listened to the clinching game in the Joyce Kilmer Barracks at Rutgers University in a chemistry lab, where you put your elbow, it was temporary barracks for World War II. They were way for thin. It was the worst conditions ever. I survived that. I survived my heat, but it was at least heat. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, so we have to do something to that. Start?
Well, it's been referred, but what we'll do is we're gonna get the full spec package that Jeff is, basically sent to the town council. Well, I don't have those yet, it just happened, so I'll forward those around and you guys can take a look at them, and at the next meeting is really where this will become an agenda item. Because it was just 2 days ago.
And I'm gonna put my banker's hat on, but this, it's not real estate. This is FF&E. The building's built. This is lab desks, pipe techs, a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, there might be some
The
stuff.
chairman of my bank, who is the smartest credit guy I know, would definitely say it ain't real estate. They don't know their stuff about FF&E, what did that cost, how long, plus depreciation, all that stuff.
Right.
It's not IB. it's not 2x4s, it's not concrete, it's not structures. Now, having said that, I know exactly what it does. Not letting the board of ed know.
So more to come on
And
that.
it's $5 million, I don't know where else to go.
I'll actually just throw 2 million on top of it.
We're adding more stations.
I don't think they're adding, I think they're just redoing. 5 out of 7.
Well, you might know more, but I heard now, before you used to have your fixed lab counters and stuff, there's some kind of way they do it now that's in like more mobile or something?
Curriculum has changed a little bit, so more than, it's not STEM.
So,
It's not
STEM.
So that it's, full gut. Each space full gut and then build out accordingly for the curriculums.
Yeah.
No more Bunsen burners and all the good stuff we used to have.
Yeah, I know, that was fun. They let us do some dangerous stuff in the lab too, right?
So
Standing at. And my 5th grade son came to me, to help with a math project, or math exercise out of Willard School. And I didn't know what he was talking about. So I did it my way and he didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
And we didn't have very good exchange of ideas because I flat out had no idea how they were teaching math.
Well, it's changed again.
Long division.
I'll tell you that happened this morning with me and my 9-year-olds.
And you're a numbers guy.
He
And Tom, were you using an abacus or a slide rule?
I don't wanna go.
My finger, guess which one I'm showing?
I couldn't see that. So you were doing what, counting one digit at a time?
They have a new way of doing it. And I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So are you making this science lab project a motion to add to the agenda tonight for a topic? Or are you just making this?
So we're just,
You
information.
have a directive. But you're just gonna let it, just not talk about it yet? Okay. There were some handouts. There were some attachments that he provided when he made the presentation, and nothing's happened yet.
The P-
Right.
So next meeting would be
Next meeting,
motion to add to the agenda.
Right now.
We'll get it. Yeah, it's more of an early warning, tsunami warning. The buoy way out there is just starting to bomb.
And what was it about a CO?
I'll deal with that offline. It's actually a $0 change order. And I went through my emails, anyway. I'm gonna do it, if it's okay with you guys, it's gonna be you already talked about it, but it'll be a straightforward, it could be an electronic vote.
Yeah.
I'll get that, so, and it's a pretty straightforward, it's already been talked about. So deal with that separately.
And it's already
So now-
been,
It was, yeah, but for you to sign it. Okay, so we'll deal with that all.
all right, so meeting dates are approved, all business, the senior community center update. I'm sure Bort could give us one.
Oh,
Says July.
Yeah.
Everybody. So bad for you, when you left there, I thought, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
He was hot.
yeah,
But
that was government at work. I actually, in retrospect, I was impressed that they were just back and forth.
there was back and forth. See, I learned something last night that her sister, I coached her sister's son in baseball, so that would be her, Mike or Matt,
Nephew?
her nephew, yeah. Mike, your nephew, yeah. And her sister was a tough technology.
So what's the, so
Anyhow,
what's
it's
the
just gonna
topic?
I'll get to it. You want me to just give you just a 2-minute?
On the senior center?
Yeah,
Yeah, you might as well.
I'll let you know what's
Let
happening.
everybody know.
So on Tuesday's town council meeting, the town council approved the use of an on-call architect that's from facilities. They have a stable of like 5 or 6
Five,
architectural firms. And I know the PBC was saying, you know, why don't we use QA&M for it? It looks like they want to go in a different direction. So it's been approved to have another architect come in, help the both groups, and they're talking about combining both statements of need into one. So it's one document, and then a new program, which will be obviously reduced. So that's where.
The issue was, not showing this is going to be the problem. The way the town works, Donna is in, I guess she's been elected, up to her to appeal to the town council to get a statement of need issued on a new senior community center. But if I interpreted the language, it's a statement of, they presented a statement of want rather than a statement of need. And the town council is going back to them, saying it's gotta be a statement of need and to give that to the city. And I understand the position that not just Donna, but everybody was in when they were appealing to the town for money. Well, you indicated, because we went through this with the police station since 2007, that's how long we've been blanking around with it. How much will you spend? I don't know. What do you need? It's a barroom argument. Who's better, Mickey Mantle or Willie Mays? And nobody's gonna win. But you're gonna get drunk and all our money to park. So it was, now I empathize with both positions. I really do. And I think the way the town does it could be structured better, but we got what we got. So I guess Donna has to go back with, she's been the duly elected nominee to the rest of the people in town and say, look, I don't know how much money the town council's gonna, nor do I know when they're gonna, but we can't spend $70 or $50 million on a beautiful building. And the town wants to, if I heard this right, wants to involve the local Y as much as it can. And it wants to keep going back because the town thinks that the Y is the entity that should provide said services the way it's done. And I know I'm from North Jersey. And there's no senior center from towns. The Y provides all this, and there are really nice YMCA's all over North Jersey. One nicer than the next. They have the indoor pools, they have the programs, they have the daycare. They draw from everywhere. None of them hurts for money, none of them hurts for revenue. Because the town uses all of the services through the YMCA, not through the Board of Education. Not a single senior center in all of Bergen County that isn't affiliated with the Y or the I can't think of the letters for that. Yeah. They're all over. Now, they're not here in Connecticut, which surprised me, because when we came up, we wanted to look for daycare and all that other stuff, and the Y was in a house.
Yeah.
And over here and over here and over there. They have, yeah, but they're more down in Fairfield. Yeah. So anyhow, I heard that the Meriden Y is open to listing. So who knows where this is gonna go?
Yeah.
But I think what the mayor said was never gonna get 50,000 citizens will hold that down. Close the board, so you have to go back, and then you have to give us a statement of need, not want. So,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take a little while, and I think that's why they went with a different architect, because, and it's probably a good idea they did, because you get stuck with that stuff in your head. I feel bad for Tom Carey, I think he did a great job. But they're gonna go back and a different architect, different programs, and try to figure something out. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's coming back anytime soon.
No,
I think
and I
in order to be done properly, it's gonna take a long time.
And I think what they're doing is they're going on 2 tracks. One is revise what's already been proposed, town, facility, no Y involvement, or a partnership. So they're having that architect look at both,
Right.
you know, so.
And maybe the architect, and I mean, these guys don't know people, maybe the architect.
Yeah.
And help with getting Hawaii involved.
Right, and just so you know, I did let Tom or Kerry know. I
Okay,
talked to him, he wasn't that happy about it,
I'm sure he
you
wouldn't.
know.
And
he
I don't,
goes,
I mean,
so,
I sort of get it,
Yeah.
that sometimes, but.
Yeah.
I happen to think they should have gone back, I think the guy did a great job.
yeah, and I told him that, I said the PVC was actually recommending that the groups work with you, you know. So anyway, that's.
Well, but
where-
actually, it may also be to Tom's benefit. I mean, that way, he's not,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say convicted or set in terms of what the program is. If somebody
Right.
sets the program, he can work to the program that somebody else came up to. And I
Right.
think Tom is more than skillful enough and qualified enough to work with it, with whatever is presented to him. But he's not, he won't be held to creating his own plan, so to speak.
Right,
The only thing I've told a certain person in my house is we're not gonna accept anything but a combined need. We're not gonna take two statement in need.
Right,
or like,
right.
all combined.
Yeah, That's a game.
Last experience, narrow it down, because we gave you before exactly what you asked for, and we're gonna do it again.
right,
And guess what? It'll cost it.
Right.
yeah, if we did the same thing.
Yeah.
So we have no choice, we can't do anything, that's not what we're here for. We're supposed to take, what, like this, and when we get the supporting information, then we do our job and tell everybody else. We come up with the number. So that's the way the town wants to structure. Now, the town could say, well, you have X amount of dollars to spend, build what you want to build for X amount of dollars. But it chooses not to do that, so.
Built the building, and then someday they want.
well, Tom had that set up.
Yeah.
Tom or Kerry had that set up. I think he had a modular approach where you could just build a building and you had the gym and the pool as second, third phases, you know. And he even said, you know what, if you're gonna lose something, lose the gym. Everyone wants to, have gyms, so.
Think the Lord.
And that would be a
You
big.
know what? Every YMCA would love. it. And there's money in mine's. Mine's well endowed.
One big thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Y organization has money. Well, they make money with you're absolutely,
do a lot of state grants.
but the YMCA organization is not, at least the ones down in New Jersey, they are not hurt.
Reggie Price doing something, a social fund, that was all doing.
Yeah. One of the reasons is all of the people who give money away from the state love working with the YMCA because it's in the ordinance. Yeah, nobody hates the Y. Everybody likes the Y. So anyhow, that's that. My last bookkeeping entry or housekeeping entry is you all got, I think you all got ethics statement. If you wanna, just don't forget, or you're gonna have Lisa yell, actually, she's gonna yell at me, yell at you.
Put in that box.
Yeah,
I didn't ever worry about it.
Right.
I can't explain.
So that's one, and then if anybody is up for,
Jason, what did you do?
I put it in that box in front of door number 3. That's what it said to do.
that's what it did. We have a young man who's.
Oh, the Dropbox,
Outside?
yeah, the Dropbox, yeah,
Thank you.
door number 3. I know, I don't think of it that way, yeah.
Just today or?
Yeah.
Do all of us have to fill forms out saying that we want to continue to be on the PVC?
We get your expiration date, yes.
Well, Tom knows he has to fill one out, right?
So,
I sent one to Tom this afternoon.
Okay. Oh, it's you as well?
midnight, last day, just for-
Thanks.
I think that's all I have.
In car wash.
Can I go back? I'm sorry, don't need to do
Oh, no,
that.
sorry, before,
Yeah.
we'll close out, no news on that, right? No, okay, now much.
Just to go back when I was out of the room, Doug got, this is going back to the Board of Ed elementary schools. Doug got 3 estimates, and this is what Don suggested, getting a boiler, and I think we would agree to get an evaluation of the boiler systems at the 3, Griswold, Hubbard, and Willard. So we got vendors, $9,600, 14,400, and 50,000.
I don't think that.
Well, the thing is, well, I was the last one to come in, and I think you were hounding them for that, and it was pretty good. Yeah. So since Doug isn't here, since Don isn't here, I don't, whatever. I went through the scopes and it's pretty straightforward. They look like they're all assessed, reports, opinions of probable cause, all that. I don't know what the group
All
wants
other
to
things
do.
being equal, there'd be no reason for us to pay more than we should, if they're competent. I mean, we know SES, I don't know Salamone and Associates, but I'm assuming if they're an approved vendor for the town, they're more than acceptable.
Familiar with the scope, they said they're currently working on some projects very similar to this, where they're going.
Then do we need to, are you asking us to to approve the funding for this?
Motion to approve, and we can talk to finance about where we'll pay, there's a few accounts we can utilize to just,
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's right, we have no money. So I guess I need a motion to approve forwarding that the PBC would accept a proposal for evaluating the boiler systems at Griswold from Salamone and Associates, and the funding will come from PBD. There's from Mr. Solek.
we have the school account for professional services. We'll not.
Okay.
I would assume I would, or I don't want to speak on it. Because of the gap, but we'll, if you approve of.
Well, we'll approve the vendor.
Yeah, I'll make the
Well, we
vote
can
to
approve
approve
finding the public hole.
boiler inspection with Solomon Associates. Funding, well. I'll second it.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay. Mark out.
Solomon.
What's that?
Mark E. Solomon.
Yeah.
His brother.
Oh, it is?
No.
I thought it might be. You never know, especially in Berlin, you never know who's related. Okay, that's all I had. Tom Salvino's favorite motion.
I abstained.
All right, did you have to
Agree.
stay on the phone all night?
Make motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Okay.
I,
Nice Christmas out here.
thank you, everyone.
I think. Learn that new math. Maybe it'll help us figure out that going.
Stuck in my ways. Yeah. So I was helping my niece with fractions, and she walked up to the clock. They have some method now where they look at the clock. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?